We are remembering a political giant in South Carolina. Former state lawmaker and Congressman Arthur Ravenel Jr. died today. He was 95 years old. ABC News 4's Conley Grayson spoke with those who knew him about how they're remembering his legacy.
Arthur was one of those living legends. I mean, tragically that comes to an end now, but he really was a living legend in the Low Country for the way that he was affable and brought a laugh to every one of us who were lucky enough to know him.
Former Governor Mark Sanford says he has a high regard for the man who made an indelible mark on South Carolina politics. Arthur Ravenel Jr. served as a state senator, state representative, a congressman, and member of the Charleston County School Board. Sanford also held the seat once occupied by Ravenel.
He saw politics as, let's find a way to come together and solve some problems and make people's lives a bit better. And do it with a touch of humor and a touch of levity that only he could bring. He could bring down the house like nobody else in conveying an idea, a serious thought, but having a light touch.
Ravenel was instrumental in securing funding for the bridge, which would be named after him. It opened in 2005.
He was a visionary, always looking to build bridges to make the community better, bring needed resources to the Low Country. He just impact quality of life across the board from A to Z. Again, Cousin Arthur, just a wonderful personality and human being.
To many, including Maurice Washington of the Charleston County Republican Party, Arthur Ravenel was known as Cousin Arthur, but the former lawmaker forged bonds beyond party lines. Washington says he had a knack of bringing people together.
He made an impact on our community, the Black community, and it was intentional. He actually judged all people on their character, the content of their character, not the color of their skin. We're gonna miss him. I love the man, love his family. He made a difference and an impact.
Working for you, Conley Grayson, ABC News 4.
Officials and lawmakers from across the Palmetto State have commented on the service and impact Ravenel left on South Carolina, the namesake behind this iconic bridge of Charleston. Mayor John Tecklenburg put out a statement saying in part, quote, Cousin Arthur loved Charleston in his bones, and Charleston loved him back. Put simply, his was a life in full, a life of joy and meaning and consequence, and he will be much missed. Governor Henry McMaster tweeted saying Arthur Ravenel was a giant of a man. His remarkable legacy will live on in our love for our people, our heritage, and our blessings of nature. McMaster says he will order the flags over the State House to be lowered at the appropriate time.
Charleston turning a dream into reality. Charleston leaders are getting ready to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who paved the way for so many during the civil rights movement and beyond. Our Kennedy Buck spoke with local organizations about how his impact continues to carry on right here in the Low Country. Kennedy.
Natalie, leaders tell me even though tomorrow is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, his leadership is celebrated every day because of how he shaped American history. He had a dream that everyone should be treated equally despite the color of their skin. And even though many strides have been made to achieve this dream, leaders say there is always more work to be done.
People think it's just a day off from work or school, but it's a very important day for our rights, and it's not just it's for everyone.
Working and fighting to achieve the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a civil rights leader who paved the way for so many.
I think that the best way to commemorate his legacy is just to kind of have kindness and empathy towards people, because ultimately that's what he wanted us to do. And so we definitely look at it as a year-long, lifelong mission, just to kind of remember to judge people by the content of their character and not the color of their skin.
The Goose Creek chapter of the NAACP is celebrating his legacy through service.
One of his quotes, paraphrasing, is everyone can't do everything, but everyone can do something, and everyone can serve.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. made history by leading important moments like the Montgomery bus boycott of 1956 and the Selma to Montgomery March in 1965. But leaders say there is still more work to be done.
So our theme this year is do the work. This is 51 years that the YWCA has been honoring and paying tribute to Dr. King. 51 years, and we're still talking about bringing the dream to reality.
Brown believes Charleston is the best place to honor his legacy.
If there's any place that can show the world how to make a difference, how to make a change, Charleston's that place, and we should be that place. There were a lot of things that were started here. Why not equity start here as well?
The hope is that more people will get to work to help continue living out his dream.
I hope that they think about being of service to others, whether or not it's January 16th or it's any other day in the year. Just how can you serve? How can you make your community, this world, a better place?
The Goose Creek chapter of NAACP is inviting the public to join their day of service tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Granny's Laundromat in Goose Creek. Tomorrow is also the annual MLK Parade downtown, and it will kick off at 10:30 a.m. starting in front of Burke High School. And you may even see a few of us here from ABC News 4 in the parade, so definitely make sure to check that out.
Celebrating a legacy that will last generations. Today, dozens gathered for Thomasena Stokes-Marshall's funeral.
She was a pillar in the Mount Pleasant and Charleston communities. Floriana Boardman tells us about her impact on the Low Country and how she put her words into action. Floriana?
Katie, Tessa, Thomasena Stokes-Marshall is the most notably known as the first and only African-American Mount Pleasant Town Councilwoman, but her friends and family know her as a tenacious woman who fought for what was right.
Trailblazer, leader, innovator, catalyst, influencer, servant.
Just a few words that define the late Thomasena Stokes-Marshall.
Bold, collaborator, courageous, and last but not least, friend.
She was a driving force in the Mount Pleasant and Charleston community.
Thomasena Stokes-Marshall was the train agent. She pushed all of us. We followed her.
Known for her involvement in countless community organizations and being the founder and president of the Sweetgrass Cultural Arts Festival and a member of the African American Settlement Community Historic Commission.
Concerning the community, she was involved. And it wasn't like just the black community, it was the community of Mount Pleasant.
But most of all, what defined Thomasena was her love.
When you were with her, you were in her presence, and she was with you. You were the most important person in her room at that time. You were the most important person in her life.
Making changes for the greater good and out of sheer determination.
And she had vision, a vision to make life better, not for herself, but for the people. That's what she did. She worked for the people.
A pillar in the community and a helping hand to anyone who needed it.
She didn't go through the motions. It wasn't a responsibility. It wasn't an opportunity to make herself shine or for somebody to say, Thomasena's just doing a great job. She led with her heart.
Stokes-Marshall served on Mount Pleasant Town Council for 17 years. Working for you live in studio, Floriana Boardman, ABC News 4.
Thank you, Floriana. And a couple of more notes on Thomasena Stokes-Marshall's amazing life. She became an NYPD officer in 1968 and was later promoted to detective. She's been an advocate of Gullah Geechee culture over the years, and after retirement, remained active with Low Country charities. A lasting legacy, to be sure. She will be truly missed.